American history is full of infamous people like D.B. Cooper, Bonnie and Clyde, and John Wilkes Booth. Places like Alcatraz Prison and the Bermuda Triangle. And events like the Salem witch trials, the Black Sox baseball scandal, and the Osage murders. I'm Chris Wimmer. Join me on the Infamous America podcast for stories of some of the darker chapters of American history, all told with cinematic music. Find Infamous America wherever you're listening now.
Grumpy Old Geeks, a weekly talk show hosted by Brian Schulmeister and Jason DeFilippo, discussing the finer points of what went wrong on the internet and who's to blame.
Welcome to Grumpy Old Geeks. I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister.
Little follow-up from last week, Brian. I am making the move to Google's YouTube Music, since Google Podcasts is shutting down.
Well, I'm glad we're giving that young whippersnapper little company a boost here by gracing them with our presence.
Yeah, we're just going to help. You and I each grab a bootstrap, and we'll hoist them up.
Yeah, all right. Well, good times. We'll see if it makes a bit of difference.
No, it won't. It won't. Yeah. But, you know, it will, because it will make people leave me alone.
Okay. I do like the fact that you put up a couple shows already, and we already have, like, really annoying YouTube comments.
That's YouTube for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 300 up already. It's doing 100 a day. So we're recording this at 4 o'clock on a Thursday night. So Friday. So by Monday, we should have it'll be Tuesday, because about Tuesday, we should have the whole setup there. But that's what it is. It's just because it has to do all the copyright checking and shit. Because there are definitely a few that will not be allowed into the pantheon, and we cannot monetize the show, or we're going to lose like 90% of the episodes, rendering the entire point moot.
Yeah,
because they're like, "Oh, this is fine if you don't want any money, then the copyright holder will leave you alone. But if you try and monetize, you're fucked." Those are the warnings I'm getting.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, a lot of those early episodes we did, we used some music we weren't supposed to.
Yeah, we were naughty. We were really naughty. Yeah, between your intro theme and then me requiring that we use the theme from Lost in Space for the outro, those two alone got us. And then apparently we used some Beatles music in there somewhere. And you're actually labeled as a copyright holder for Among Us for our interstitials and intro music somewhere. So,
well, I grant you the rights for that.
Thank you. Would you mind telling YouTube?
I don't have a label. I have no way to get in contact with them anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, this is how copyright goes to die.
Yep, that's it. So links to that will be in the show notes, both the YouTube page and the YouTube music page, because it gives us both. Because why the fuck not? Why not have two things that I have to deal with?
Sure. Great.
Oh yeah, and it was great because the first 100 episodes I had to sit there and go one each by each. Make it going from private to public, because it did not respect the make this public on import setting. Way to go, Google. I know you're strapped for cash and can't afford any engineers, so I'll give you a pass on that one.
Good times.
And just a little wrap or follow-up here for the year-end Pink Slip wrap-up. We've got Hasbro is cutting 1,100 jobs, even though Dungeons & Dragons is killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Hasbro CEO Chris Cox wrote a memo that says, you just can't not. He's going to direct the company's attention toward licensing opportunities, scaling entertainment, and, quote, freeing up our own content dollars to drive new brand development. He blames the company's losses on vague, quote, market headwinds.
Okay.
Yep.
Whatever that means, Cox.
Yep. Thanks, Cox.
Well, it's you say like a wrap up to the Pink Slip season, but we got 2 weeks to go, people. Plenty of time to lay people off.
Well, Etsy's going to keep going. Mm-hmm. They're kicking out 11% of their workforce, approximately 225 employees.
Okay.
Wait for it. They call it a very challenging macro and competitive environment.
Okay.
You can't read it. It's,
Yeah. I mean,
you're fired bullshit
I just call that business.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Cruise, not Tom or, cruising for ass. Cruise is going to lay off almost a quarter of its workforce, about 900 employees.
Okay.
Because they keep running people over and not telling the government about it.
Yeah. There are numerous reasons for these layoffs, yes.
Yes, on Wednesday, the company said it had parted with 9 top executives, including leaders in legal, government affairs, commercial operations, and safety and systems.
Yes,
I wonder why.
Very challenging safety environment over there.
Yes. Don't run over kids or anybody. How about you stop running people over? Here's the crazy bit. GM has lost $8 billion on Cruise so far. $8 billion with a B.
Yeah, and they're going to cut the subsidiaries' funding next year. So that is pretty much the death knell for Cruise.
And they've cut all the cities. They were in a ton of different cities, and they're like, we're going to come back, and we're just going to try one city for starters. Pray you're not that city.
Yes.
And sadly, I heard this on Twit this week. Leo Laporte had to get rid of Jason Howell, Ant Pruitt, and Victor Bognot. And I love this. They have to say that Victor Bognot was one of their editors. So, like, everybody knows who these other people are, but we got rid of an editor, too.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And at the end of their blog post, they're like, we know Jason and Ant will land on their feet. Here's how you can contact them to give them a job. Victor, no more mention. Yeah. Us editors, man, we get this short shit there.
Yeah, you gotta search LinkedIn for Bognot to take care of him. So
yeah, no, because I need his job. So screw that guy. I paid Leo Laporte not to link to him. And I just love this tweet for the week. Jimmy Wales writes, "I forgot my bank password and lost my entire net worth." No, actually, that didn't happen because banks work and Bitcoin doesn't.
True.
In the news,
now, Brian, before we get into any real news for the week, I just want to read you this headline and let it sink in for a second.
Okay.
San Francisco tech CEO Christian Lang accused of forcing assistant to sign slave contract for sexual torture. San Francisco, man.
I tell you, it's good to be a San Francisco tech CEO.
Everybody's denying it, of course, but the New York Post article has pictures of the entire contract with his signature at the bottom. So, yeah, there you go.
All right. Okay.
You do you, San Francisco. You do you.
Yeah. That's wow. That's we've gone beyond go and get me some coffee. But,
seriously.
Wow. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Good times.
All right. Oh, man. So in the battle between Epic Games and Google, Epic has finally come out on top. They finally got one. Where's John Oliver and the big button?
We got one.
So, yeah, a jury has basically said, yeah, Google was bad. The summation of it. Google was bad.
Yeah. I remember when Do No Evil was their company slogan.
Yeah, well, that's long, long gone. Yeah, they said that they basically abused their monopoly to extract exorbitant fees, stifle competition, and reduce innovation. Yeah, that's kind of what they do over there when they have the keys to the castle.
I mean, I guess it's hilarious because Epic lost their battle against Apple, and Google has just been running around, desperately claiming how much better they are because they don't do these sorts of things, but they're the ones that lose the case.
And here's why. It comes down to this. Apple is better at deleting shit than Google is. True. Google had all their communications right there and ready for the court, and Apple's like, no, we don't keep that stuff. Delete really means delete over here instead of set visibility to 0 like it does at Google. So there was a lot more evidence against Google on this one. And also, this was a jury trial, not a bench trial like the Apple versus Epic one was.
Right.
So we'll see what this comes down to as far as damages go. But Epic wasn't actually suing for money. So, we'll see what they come out with. But just the fact that if they don't have to pay those fees anymore and they can have their own app store within, the Android ecosystem, the CEO basically says we stand to make hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars paying Google's stupid fees. So there you have it. So
you have it.
Good for Epic.
Well, Meta is going to fact check content on the Threads app.
Good luck.
Because they're not fact checking content anywhere else.
Yeah.
But, so, okay. All right. Head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, has posted that they are working on creating a fact-checking program. Of course, they don't lay out what such a program would entail, only saying that they are going to match fact-check ratings from Facebook or Instagram to Threads. Well, we know how well those work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Low
this
bar.
basically means we're going to apply the same shit low bar filters to threads that we do everywhere else. I mean, at least they're going to do something with threads. I haven't been on threads in a while, but it does seem that people seem to like it. It seems, at least to me, that it's kind of won the Twitter war, as it were. Blue Sky is, I don't hear anything about Blue Sky
what's
anymore.
that?
People are fleeing X in droves because, it's what's the shit story of the week that came out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like Threads is kind of one. So they're paying attention to it, basically. So it's like, oh shit, we forgot. There's no fact checking here. Let's roll this over.
Yeah, they and I think that comes in line with they just launched in the EU today, so they probably had to do that before they could launch in the EU.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
So, I've actually been playing around with it a little more lately. It's I still have to remind myself that it is a Zuckerberg joint.
Yeah,
and that sours me on the interaction a bit. But at least it's
is there one that has an owner that doesn't sour you on the interaction?
No, it's not a Musker fuck. So what are you going to do?
Or Dorsey, not much better.
It's twats all the way down is the problem, In Blue Sky, Mastodon. What's that?
Yeah.
So, I kind of gotten rid of all of them, but I just popped into Threads the other day just because I was really, really, really bored. And I needed to kill 3 minutes, and it was okay.
It did the job?
It did the job. It killed 3 minutes and probably a couple 100 million brain cells. So there you go.
And you were able to put it down, unlike TikTok.
Oh, yes. Yes. It went down immediately.
So, that's a win.
Yep. Time to stand up, get off the crapper. Okay, done. Legs didn't fall asleep. Let's just put it that way. All right. Starlink is back in the news. They wanted some cash from the government, $886 million to be precise, to work on the rural internet problem. Well, the FCC apparently is doing its job because they said, no, you can't have the money. So they did not meet the requirements. So simple as that. So, of course, they're bitching and moaning.
You have to fill out the paperwork in triplicate. You have to meet the requirements. And, oh, by the way, I wonder who might happen to have $886 million maybe just shoved in the back of a couch somewhere.
Well, he used to, at least until he bought Twitter.
No, he still does. He's got plenty of money. He could pay for this himself. He doesn't. This is one of the untold things, or at least certainly something that always seems to get shoved under the rug about Elon Musk, is how much money from the government he gets on a regular basis to start all of his companies.
Huge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And he didn't put out the whole $44 billion for X.
No.
There's a lot of other people, banks, rich friends, Saudis, lots of Saudis, which is why I'm saying, and I'm thinking it's like, okay, the more he screws around and keeps losing money, somebody's going to come knocking saying we'd kind of like it back. But I think the trick was that he asked people who also had that much money sitting around in the couch.
Yeah. They're not missing it.
No, it's pocket change for most of them. But anyway, FCC, good on you. Do your job.
Good. Also, some good news coming out of Microsoft. Microsoft has agreed to union contract language regarding its use of artificial intelligence, which should give workers a voice when challenging how the technology is deployed, as reported by Bloomberg. This is the first U.S. instance of collective bargaining in Microsoft's history, and could be a huge step for those employed with the tech giant. So this is good news. It came as part of negotiations with the Communications Workers of America Union and involves contract language that covers a few hundred staffers at Microsoft's game studio ZeniMax. But of course, the idea here being if you start there, it'll expand throughout all of Microsoft, maybe. So it basically incorporates all of Microsoft's previously announced AI principles, 10 commandments type deal that states all the AI systems will treat all people fairly and empower everyone, whatever the fuck that means.
Whatever the fuck that means.
To that end, it gives employees covered under the contract an avenue of recourse should they feel that Microsoft isn't holding up its end of the bargain. So this is like, let's avoid that whole open AI bullshit that just happened again.
Yeah.
And deal with it internally if it happens.
Till the challenging macro market headwinds take effect and everything changes.
Microsoft also entered into a partnership with the AFL-CIO, the country's largest federation of unions, which is pretty cool. The AFL-CIO calls this team up the first of its kind between a labor organization and a technology company. So, making the right moves, sort of.
All right.
It is worth noting, as the article points out, though, that Microsoft shareholders rejected a proposal last week that would slow down AI spending until a risk assessment project could be conducted. We giveth with one and taketh with the other.
Oh, man. Well, Microsoft's doing good by the unions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Elon again.
Let me guess. Not so good.
Not so good. Tesla has been fighting with Swedish unions for quite some time now. Basically, there's a metal workers union that wants a new deal. They're not giving it to them. So so far, the post office in Sweden has decided not to deliver the license plates for Teslas. They found some kind of workaround for that. We talked about that on a show a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now the garbage men have jumped in and said, we are not taking away your trash, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so if Tesla doesn't do a deal with the IF Metal, they don't do a deal with that union, then on December 24th, Merry Christmas Eve, the trash embargo for Tesla will go into effect. So yeah, they don't fuck around over there, man.
They don't. I mean, if it does sound like Elon Musk has picked a fight with a new musical genre, though, Swedish Trash Metal.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, man. He's not going to win this one.
No, you don't win when an entire country is basically saying fuck off.
Yeah. So I think what he will do, here's my guess. I don't think he's going to capitulate. I think he's just going to take his toys and go home.
Yep. I think he's going to be out of Sweden.
Yeah. Fine. Fine by me. I don't have any Tesla stock anymore. Screw it. Here's another fun one. Tesla recalls 2 million vehicles over Autopilot software issue.
What's the issue? It doesn't work?
Yeah, it actually does not do what it says it's going to do. More on that in a second. But, the thing is going around, well, is it a recall if it's just a software patch? Well, according to the NHTSA, yes, it is. It's your car's broken. You need to fix it. So you need to recall them to be fixed. Just because just
because you don't have to take it somewhere.
Yes, exactly. Because what if that person doesn't have connectivity? What if the modem's broken?
Mm-hmm.
You need to send them a letter that says your car sucks and that they need to come to a dealership or plug it into the modem to get the download. So, yeah. So this is all around Autopilot. So. Because it doesn't work. Basically, what they're saying is it's too easy to circumvent the system. That too. Yeah. to circumvent the system by, even just putting weights on the steering wheel and things like that. So they're making changes to the UI, making changes to the software. So we'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about a vehicle from Tesla that will probably be having required recalls at some point in the very near future, but not yet. The Cybertruck. Now, they put in their purchase agreement when they were about to start delivering them that Tesla could seek injunctive relief to prevent owners from transferring their vehicle's title if they attempt to sell it within 1 year of buying.
I like to get injunctive relief in the shower every morning.
While listening to Swedish Trash Metal.
Exactly.
So, yeah, they're basically saying if you buy the car, you have to keep it for a year or we're going to basically punish you. The company said it could also seek liquidated damages from customers worth of $50,000 or the value received as consideration for the sale or transfer, whichever is greater. That broke on social media when it came out, and they removed the clause quietly. But then they put it back in.
Whoops.
So, yes, Cybertruck customers who have managed to put in an order for the $120,000 Foundation series with Harry Seldon.
I was going to say,
alive and well.
You get a Civic. That's what you get. I bought a Foundation and all I got was a Civic.
Yeah, the clause is still in place. If owners must flip their vehicles before the year is up, Tesla's asking them to notify the company, so you have to ask Daddy's permission, which will then purchase it back for retail minus 25 cents per mile driven and minus the cost of wear and tear, as well as the cost to repair any damages. Now, it's not just Tesla that does this, to be fair. Luxury brands like Ferrari and Porsche for their very high-end models will enforce a similar rule. But have you looked at this thing?
Yeah.
Does it look like a Ferrari or a Porsche?
It's apparently faster than a Porsche.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
Except if it's trying to go up a hill. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yeah, which is my next story.
Okay.
Watch a Cybertruck get towed by a Ford pickup after the Tesla appears to get stuck off-roading. There are a lot of caveats to why the Cybertruck was not working. It didn't have the right software. Should have got that over-the-air patch, dude. It was some kind of basically, test model. They didn't, what do they call that? Air down the tires to make them a little softer to give more traction. Basically, it's a laundry list of why the thing shouldn't have been where it was.
Right.
But you know what you can do with a Ford F-150? Resell it if you want to.
That's true.
Even Ford, though, has cut production on theirs because people are souring on EVs, it seems.
It seems to
I'm
be.
sorry, not souring, cooling. Because of trade market headwinds and shit like that. Oh man, yeah. So it's funny. A friend of the show, Jeff Donaldson, was sending me pictures. He was driving around Austin and saw some in the wild. He keeps sending them to me. So they are they look just as ugly in his photos as they do on every other photo. These are fucking ugly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. I mean, initially I was like, "Ooh, kind of Battlestar Galactica by your command," but no, they're just ugly.
80s Battlestar Galactica. Let's clarify here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Lorne Green Cybertruck. It's the Lorne Green Foundation edition. Oh, man. Alpo. 3 people got that joke. Tesla claims California false advertising law violates the First Amendment. Please, Tesla. Have you seen this one?
Yeah. A bit of a stretch.
They are claiming... this just boggles my mind. They're saying
free speech, and I can say whatever I want, even if it's patently false in an advertisement, is basically what they're trying to claim here.
That's exactly what they're trying to claim. Our Teslas go to space and back and rub your feet. That's free speech. We can say that. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just such a stretch. It is beyond belief. Mm-hmm. But is it really beyond belief? No, it's not, because it's Tesla. But yes, they literally filed a lawsuit against the state of California saying that it's within their right to call it, autopilot and say that it's full self-driving, even though they can't. Yep. It's already in the California Vehicle Code. The FCC has already said you cannot have deceptive commercial speech because it does not violate the First Amendment. You fucking knobs.
He's a free speech warrior, Jason.
No.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is just this. I mean, this is an Onion article. It really is an Onion article come to life.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been feeling that way about the world recently.
Oh, it just gets worse. What do you got next?
This one is from the "Have you not seen any fucking dystopian sci-fi movies?" file. Because just researchers fuse lab-grown human brain tissues with electronics. What could possibly go wrong?
Isn't this Elon's other company?
Well, no, they're doing brain implants, right? So this is not so much a brain implant as it's taking a few cells of the brain and teaching it to interact with a computer.
The first few cells are free, Brian.
That's the way it usually goes.
Yeah.
So it's a hybrid biocomputer containing lab-grown human brain tissue with conventional circuits and AI, dubbed BrainoWare. Which I'm like, maybe you should hire a branding person. Just one?
Seriously?
BrainoWare sounds like it's from like a 1970s dystopian sci-fi movie.
1920s? Come on.
The system
I put on the BrainoWare. I'm going to take over the organoids. Pew, pew, pew.
The system learned to identify voices with 78% accuracy. It could one day lead to silicon microchips fused with neurons. So yes, it combines brain organoids, stem cell-derived clusters of human cells morphed into neuron-filled mini-brains with conventional electronic circuits. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, great.
Soon to be driving all Cybertrucks.
Well, they're already licensed to self-drive.
There you go.
Yeah, I sued for the ability to say that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, I love the old Elon. I love the old Elon. 2013 Elon, I loved. Elon Model X sucks.
Right.
But this week, SpaceX shared some of their new footage of the latest Starship launch.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. It really reminded, it had the music. It was in beautiful 4K. They had really nice, I mean, it was beautiful. Except for the part where Elon's jumping up and down for joy. That kind of took me out of it. Kind of like Adam from Mythbusters at the end of The Expanse, you know,
yes,
really just took me right out of it.
Out.
Right out of it. But it was a really beautiful video. The link is in the show notes. I highly recommend taking a look.
I was just thinking for a second before you go on to your next story. I'm starting to really get like Elon fatigue and why people are getting it. We did not intend to, but we've talked about every single one of Elon's companies. Mm-hmm. Elon himself just being a douche. Tesla, Cybertruck. We've talked about his dead monkeys from trying to put human brain cells in there. We talked about Starlink. My God, just can I have a day without Elon?
A day without Elon.
God, it'd be nice.
That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about Jeff Bezos for a second then.
Shit, that guy?
That guy's back. His penis rockets at Blue Origin are finally getting to fly again. Really? So they had to take 15 months off because one went boom. And the FAA came back and said, you need to fix this, and this. Fire a bunch of people, get a new bunch of people in here, write a new service manual, and then you can try again. So that's where we're at. Yes, they have to implement 21 corrective actions, including redesigning the engine and nozzle components. That's and kind of a big ask.
Make it look a little less dicky.
Yeah. Let's talk about the shape, shall we?
As well as paint it pink.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Those aren't veins; they're fuel lines, buddy. Oh God!
Oh, I know what I need your AI generator to do for show art.
Oh man, I'll get booted. I'll get booted. Okay, I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can hack the code. See if my prompt engineering skills are what they should be.
Throbbing Rocket. I mean,
Throbbing Rocket. Oh God. Okay. Well,
it's also another musical genre that I've gotten into recently.
Well, since we are talking about how just random life is right now, this is such a weird ass time to be alive. We now have a whale SETI team. Now,
Captain Kirk, Spock.
Exactly.
Scotty.
Head into the past and pick us up some whales.
Computer.
Transparent
I
aluminum.
Picked up my mouse to do that. Such a nerd.
Such a nerd. Oh, God. Okay, well, let me go back to this real quick. The whale SETI team. Now, SETI is an acronym for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Unless they're saying these are space whales, I think they need to redefine the acronym. So, anyway, the space or the unspace whale SETI team has claimed that they've actually spoken to a whale now.
All right.
Yes, they've spoken to a whale. He's fine. He's fine. Yes, he's like, what is this bowl of petunias doing here? Anyway, yeah, so they stuck a speaker in the ground, in the water, and talked to a humpback whale named Twain for 20 minutes. So didn't really have much to say. He was like, man, Twitter used to be so much better. And then he swam away.
Catch me on Mastodon.
Greetings, tech aficionados and champions of digital liberty. Are you curious about the mysteries of the dark web? Ever wondered how you can remain anonymous and secure online? We have just the thing for you. Introducing Dark Web Academy, an online platform for courses specifically designed for those who seek knowledge and skills in navigating the dark web, using security tools like Tor, and much more. Whether you're a beginner wanting to explore the hidden corners of the internet or a seasoned pro looking to enhance your skills, we've got you covered. Dark Web Academy was established by a fellow listener of Grumpy Old Geeks and is completely complimentary for all fellow grumps and fans of GOG. Absolutely, it's free. Yes, you heard it right. Free! Sign up for courses on Dark Web Academy today and use the code GOGFREE, no spaces, on any course to receive it for free. New courses and a mobile app are coming soon, so be ready. Head over to darkwebacademy.com immediately and commence a journey of enlightenment, empowerment, and digital liberation. And remember to use code GOGFREE. We look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Today's episode is sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, also known as a VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, your internet service provider is storing your browsing data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-block content around the world. PIA comes with an easy-to-use app and browser extensions for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open-source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Mag. If you sign up with PIA right now, you can take advantage of a special deal only for GOG listeners. By using our link, gog.show/VPN, you can get complete digital privacy for less than $2 a month and 4 extra months for free, which means only $1.98 a month and up to 83% off. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days and see if you like it. If not, just return it for a full refund. So go to gog.show/VPN and try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. That's gog.show/VPN.
Hey, it's Ryan Holiday, host of the Daily Stoic podcast. When I bought my first house in 2013, part of the way I paid for it was we would rent it out on Airbnb in Austin when there was South by Southwest or F1 or ACL. And then later, when that tiny little house became my office, I would work there, I'd do my writing during the week. Then on the weekends, we'd rent it out to people who were coming in from out of town on Airbnb. And you may be sitting on an Airbnb and not even know it. You've probably had the same experience. You stayed in an Airbnb and thought, this is doable. Maybe I could rent my place on Airbnb. And it's really that simple. You can start with a spare room or you can rent your whole place. Maybe you're traveling to see friends and family for the holidays. While you're away, your home could be an Airbnb. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out at airbnb.com/host.
Media Candy.
So, Brian, a little quick Traitors Canada wrap-up.
Yep. How'd they do? Were they very nice about killing each other?
They actually were. It was a fine ending all the way around.
Okay.
It was good. Then we finished the Traitors UK. Even better ending, gotta say. The only one that made me feel like shit so far is the United States version, which I'm surprised
that tracks.
That tracks. That really does track. People are shittier here. We are better at being traitors.
Okay. Any countries left? What's next?
Seen them all.
Traitors Zimbabwe? What are we up to?
I wish. I actually had a dream that my roommate was like, hey, I hear the Traitors Italy is out now and they're in Rome. And I visualized seeing a version of it with subtitles. And they're, oh man, yeah, no. And then I had to check the next day. And yes, it was a dream. Like, shit. Because we're out till January. January is when the new one starts. So
January is 2 weeks away. I think you'll make it.
I think so. Been catching up on Slow Horses. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah, I got to catch up on that.
Good. I actually went back and started watching it again from the beginning because it dawned on me I drank a lot. I mean, a lot when the first 2 seasons were on. I don't remember a damn thing. I remembered that they were good, but I'm watching. I'm like, I've never seen this show. This is quite good.
Man, you've got like 50 years of history to catch back up on, Jason.
I'm going to say
everything's new to you.
If I apply that logic, my library just got a renewed sense of value to it. Oh man. But hat tip to Gary Oldman. He got nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Male Actor in a TV Series.
Congratulations.
I watched the Doctor Who special number 3 with the final transformation of David Tennant into a new Doctor. Mm-hmm. Sorta. They MCU'd the shit out of it, which is really sad. It was garbage, sadly. It was absolute and utter garbage, at least personally to me. And, of course, to the internet, if you would go listen to what the internet has to say. As far as I can tell, nobody fucking liked it. So, and Neil Patrick Harris. So,
yeah. I'm a little tired of his Neil Patrick Harrising.
Yeah, he was really Neil Patrick Harrising the shit out of this one. So,
all right.
Yep. And I watched it on my 75-inch 4K TV, and he has really nice teeth. That's all I had. That was the one takeaway. I'm like, man, they really did your teeth up. Nice.
Okay.
They're really huge on my TV.
I found a new podcast that I'm listening to. I mean, I guess BBC Sounds, if you want to complain about being a podcast, because it goes out on the radio in England. But
there's no such thing as a podcast anymore. Whatever.
Okay, there we go. AIMLN podcast. This is called Sliced Bread. And it is basically, he asked the question of listeners write in and want him to look into different topics and figure out if they are marketing BS or SB, best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, please tell me they did fully self-driving Teslas.
They have not done that yet. It is more pedestrian pursuits, but it is very interesting. I enjoy it. Some of the episodes I've listened to include vacuum cleaners. They talk about corded, cordless, and robot. Ice baths. Bullshit. Smart thermometers, weighted blankets, also bullshit.
Yes.
Vapes made me very happy that I decided to stop smoking and use that as a way to get there, because vapes came out pretty well. Barefoot shoes, cycle helmets, I mean, all kinds of stuff. There's like 83 different episodes, and it's very well done, very informative, and it definitely goes to experts. So you leave the episode pretty much having a solid scientific basis behind why something is bullshit or not.
Okay, barefoot shoes. What was the verdict?
For some people, occasionally, kind of good.
Okay.
But, it's mostly for runners. It's not for just around the house.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I tried those things. And I even tried those stupid toe shoes that Tim Ferriss was, hawking for a while.
Nothing made you look more like a douche than those things.
Oh,
even
my
the
God,
Google
man.
glasses did not make you look as douchey as those stupid toe shoes.
No, those things were bad, man. I wouldn't leave the house. I lived in San Francisco at the time,
right,
where it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
God, fucking
good way to spread that man poo into the crevices.
Oh, imagine
Squelch.
stepping in man poo with the toe shoes. Oh, yuck. Oh, God.
We got some streaming name change news. The Showtime's cable channel is changing its name to, wait for it, it's going to be poppy, it's going to be cool, it's going to be well thought out, well branded, and just roll off the tongue. Paramount Plus with Showtime.
I like Brainowave better than that.
I'd subscribe to Brainowave.
Seriously.
Yeah. So as they point out, this may not be a seamless transition for certain customers. However, some subscribers of the linear Showtime channel will not have access to the Paramount Plus with Showtime streaming plan, because it's a streaming plan as opposed to a packaged cable channel. Instead, Paramount Plus with Showtime cable subscribers will be able to access programming online via the authenticated streaming apps of pay TV partners. Paramount Global does have agreements with some large pay TV providers that allow Showtime cable subscribers to also access the Paramount Plus with Showtime streaming service. Confused yet? Oh, you will be.
Oh, you will be. Jesus.
And in Google News, Google has begun shifting users from Play Movies and TV ahead of that January shutdown. So, that's all over.
Another confusing one. I could never figure out what was where and why and how. It's like,
well, the company has released detailed instructions on how longtime customers can continue accessing the content they've already purchased. Admittedly, it can be a bit confusing since access depends on what device the viewer is using.
No shit. No shit.
Yeah, it is complicated just even trying to read it. So viewers will be able to access movies and shows they'd purchase in the Your Library row under the Shop tab in Google Play if they're watching on TVs and streaming devices powered by Android TV. If they're on Android TV cable or set-top boxes, they'll be able to access their old content through the YouTube app, where they could also continue buying and renting movies and shows. Or you can fire up a browser and go to the YouTube website to see the old stuff.
Stop buying and renting movies from these platforms, people. That's the easiest thing here. Just stop.
And Netflix basically shocked the entire streaming world by releasing metrics.
Yep, finally.
Finally. A twice-a-year engagement report called What We Watched. Now, as you'd imagine, for Netflix, which makes money hand over fist and is very well done with their branding, and everything is beautiful and in line, and everything is done very nicely. Of course, this report came out in an Excel file.
Mm-hmm. I love that part. That part
I
was
do
the best
too,
part.
actually. It
That
was
was the great part.
Because you could just quickly sort and move through everything very fast. It was awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I actually like that.
It lists the hours viewed for every title, original and licensed, that has tallied more than 50,000 viewing hours. So this covered January to June 2023, including 18,214 entries of eligible content. The big winner, the action thriller series The Night Agent Season 1 with 812,100,000 hours.
See, here's the thing. The thing about this is the timing is weird on because it's that entire inclusive period. It's not broken down by even if they did an average hours per day, it would be more telling, I think, than, just having the full list, because the release times are different for all the different shows.
Yeah.
So the Sandman Season 1 came out on my birthday, August 5th, 2022, has 56.7 million hours watched, which is really good because that puts it at 247 out of 18,000 in change, which means sequels. But still, it's really hard because I think the only reason that, that the Night Agent Season 1 got that many hours is because it was the only fucking thing to watch for a while, and it was just at the top. Yeah. It wasn't that great. I watched it. It was, it was decent, but it wasn't mind-bogglingly good. But I guess that's what you need to get, mass adoption nowadays. So
pretty much. Although I was heartened to see that Wednesday made it into the top 5. I love that show. It was very well done. So
yeah, even though she needs to stop talking as a human and stick to acting. But
you don't have to read our interviews.
No, you don't.
Just ignore them.
You really don't. Yeah, you just shut the fuck up. In the nice part of having the spreadsheet too is you can just kind of scroll through. It is incredible how some of these long tail movies out there are getting, hundreds of thousands of hours and sometimes millions of hours of views. Like Heat, the movie Heat. I'm like, that's a old fucking movie. Yeah. And it's, over 1 million hours watched. I'm like, wow, that's kind of impressive. So, and the other thing is just so much random shit on there. Like How to Build a Sex Room is one of the shows that I found scrolling through. I'm like, what? This
was the watched after midnight tally
in San Francisco by the CEO of that company that just got fired.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the only one that watched it. It was just on loop at his house, and he had his assistant sitting there watching it.
How to create a sex slave contract.
Exactly. But Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos did explain why it's been hiding all the streaming data, and I thought it was a really good answer. Now tell me if I'm wrong here.
Okay.
At the beginning, we did not want to lay out the breadcrumbs for future competitors. And also, it really did resonate with talent really positively that we weren't going to have the overnight ratings or the weekend box office. So there was a lot of positive around it. It was pretty exotic. You couldn't compare overnight ratings or Live +7 to a perpetually available show where all the episodes dropped at once. So I was concerned that people wouldn't get the nuance of the difference of the two. So rather than generate comparison, just don't give it. And over time, he did say that he admitted that, it also created an atmosphere of mistrust.
Yes, when you weren't
they were hiding
people.
something. And it's, yes. And eventually, everybody else was doing it, so we had to. So in the beginning, it was business reasons, which made sense when they were the only game on the block. But as more streaming companies came out and it became the only fucking way to watch a TV show, they gotta give up the ghost. So I thought that made sense. I thought that was a good explanation,
I'd believe it more if they didn't have the numbers themselves and weren't looking over them feverishly every night.
Yeah, well, they definitely did that. And they didn't tell people. That's the one thing. They didn't tell people why their show lived or died, But they would tell comedians, and they're like, no, you have to lead with this joke first. This, they would completely, that's like, if you watch a comedy special on Netflix, it has been engineered by the numbers to start with the strongest joke first. So it's all downhill from there and end with the second best joke, which a lot of comedians do already, but they really drive home. It's like, you got to start strong. None of that BS in the beginning. That's quirky behind the scenes. Like you want to go from press play to going, hey, Detroit, as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we got another streamer out on the horizon, one I just know we're both going to subscribe to. Tucker Carlson has given up the ghost with X and had launched his own streaming service.
Oh, how's that going?
Oh, I'm sure it's had the best download numbers ever, Jason.
That's right.
Because it just launched.
Groundbreaking record day.
$9 a month for 5 original shows starring Tucker Carlson.
I would be tuckered out after watching 5 shows.
Yeah, after Elon basically pleaded and begged and sucked off the penis rocket of Tucker Carlson to stay on X, he's decided, nope, that's not happening. So we have a home to exclusive all-new content from Tucker Carlson, says Tucker Carlson's website. The streaming service claims to be the sworn enemies of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink, built to combat traditional journalists who allegedly hate the truth. Yes. So the epicenter of the Tucker Carlson network is the Tucker Carlson Encounter, a show with friendly sit-down interviews, though it sounds like a terrifying experience you might have in a Florida parking lot.
It really does. In a Waffle House.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that, Tucker. I'm fully supportive of people being entrepreneurs and taking care of their own stuff out there, and I'm sure you'll have an audience for a while. And Apple is tossing a bone to music artists. If anybody who wants to put out their music in spatial audio, a relatively new audio format that is more immersive than regular stereo, and conveniently in almost all Apple products these days, they will get added weighting starting next year, which means they'll get a couple more pennies on the dollar. So if you can go back and remix your old stuff, or you can do all your new stuff in spatial audio, as well as having it in just standard old audio that we've all grown up and love, Apple will give you a couple more pennies. So I guess that's good.
Okay. I actually checked out, I think the new Buffy audiobook from Audible has spatial audio. Mm-hmm. It's really cool, at least for an audiobook.
Like when I watched a couple of the Apple TV shows when my kids and my wife were already in bed and I had my headphones in, it was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Do I want it for music? I don't know about that, but
it's cool for TV. Like I don't know if you've been watching Monarch, the Godzilla series on Apple TV Plus.
No, I do want to watch that though.
Yeah, I'm like 2 episodes in. It's pretty good, and it's got the spatial audio action in it too, which is pretty cool when Godzilla's chomping by on the first episode. Apparently, he doesn't show up very much though for the rest of the series. So I think because I saw a headline that said, "Hey, we got some Godzilla this week." I'm like, okay, well now I know not to be waiting for Godzilla. It's like dragons in Game of Thrones; they're just too expensive,
right?
Well, Brian, breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
Apple is going to be making a Murderbot series.
Oh, they're going to foundation it?
Yes, they are, literally. Because David S. Goyer, the executive behind Foundation, is going to be one of the executive producers of
So it'll be called
Murderbot.
The Murderbot Diaries, and there will be a robot. And that's about all we can count on.
And it's going to be Alexander Skarsgård as the robot, which is interesting.
I like that casting.
I would like that casting, except in my head, the Murderbot has always been a woman.
Me too.
Yeah. So they really did foundation it already.
Yep, there you go.
Already.
That's weird. Yeah. That's funny. It's always been a woman in my head too.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, the audiobooks are read by a woman.
Oh,
so
okay.
And I never listened to the audiobooks. I've only read it on my Kindle.
Weird.
So I've always pictured it as a woman. So that's going to be odd. But not as odd as Foundation Season 3, the fact that they greenlit that. Most odd fucking thing I've heard all week.
Yep, it's strange.
Ups and doodads.
Well, Apple has released all new updates for everything, so I got to spend a joyful night wandering around the house and doing all my iPads and my watch and my computers and my iPads and the TVs and blah, 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 blah. But they all went pretty well, so that's good. It's iOS 17.2 is out, iPad OS 17.2, Mac OS 14.2 Sonoma, and the main thing is Journal. That really seems to be the big deal.
I reviewed that a couple weeks ago because I had the public beta version. Mm-hmm. And did you try it? Do you care?
No, don't care.
Yeah, I didn't think you were a journaler.
I'm not a journaler, so it's no big deal for me. I don't like the suggestions for journal entries. I've got to find out if there's a way to turn that off. Or maybe I just sign back out a journal or something because I launched it once. Because I don't want another suggestion when I'm going through my phone looking at things.
I think you just turn off Siri suggestions.
No, okay. I got to do that then.
Yeah, because I've never got one, and I've used Journal a couple times.
Right.
I think you just turn off Siri suggestions for that.
Yep.
Or everything, because who cares?
Yeah. And the Apple TV OS 17.2 has come out, and since you and I both use that as our main streaming box, which basically means it's our TV these days, that's pretty cool. The main change around this time is a redesign of the core Apple TV app. You will see a sidebar that blends content from Apple's own services, such as Apple TV Plus, MLS Season Pass, and a store where you can buy and rent popular movies with access to third-party channels and apps such as Disney Plus and Max. You're supposed to be able to swipe left for this, and I've swiped left so hard that my remote is basically broken now, and I cannot get the sidebar to come up, so I don't know what's going on.
Now I'm glad you pointed out, because I did that because I've had the beta for that too for quite some time. Because I heard they added an extra icon to the rose, and I'm like, oh, I need that. So give me that. It's got like like the control panel and all that stuff.
Right. You can do FaceTime calls now on it, which I'm fine, whatever.
Yeah, you have to set up the continuity camera with your iPhone to do that. And I'm like, I hate having, because continuity camera, like I turned it on a couple of my Macs and it would always flip when I was walking around the house. Just like ding, it just kept ringing. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And it's like, oh, continuity camera has been activated on this one, on that one, on this one. I'm like, Nyeh. So I got to say, though, as a webcam, the iPhone, pretty good.
Right.
For, because it costs you like, what, $1,200?
It's a very expensive webcam.
I wish it was easier to use the back camera for it. But anyway, I digress. But I have not tried a FaceTime call because FaceTime, who the fuck uses FaceTime?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, me either. Now with the new betas, with the 17.3 beta, Apple is going to be launching stolen device protection.
Okay.
Finally.
Yep.
So the big deal is that lately there's been a lot of news stories where people are shoulder surfing your phone, seeing you put in your passcode, which who puts their passcode in anymore? But apparently some people do, people who like to get drunk at bars and have their phone stolen, apparently. Because with those old passcodes, you could change somebody's basically Apple ID password, which locks them out of the phone and gives them the keys to the castle, which you will never get back because Apple cannot give it back to you. They won't give it back to you. So you're screwed. So now the new stolen device protection will add in different levels of security by adding things like a 1-hour delay before you can do anything really interesting with your phone. Also, it's got some location locking on it too. So if you're at work or at home, it knows. It knows. The problem with work is work's a big place usually, and a lot of people work in high rises. So somebody on one floor can steal your phone, go to another floor, and then do whatever they got to do. But so hopefully you'll be able to change that. Hopefully, because I just would want it at home, or work in a smaller place. But anyway, and most people work from home anyway, so there you go. It should be interesting. I like that they're adding more security to the phone.
We had talked about that a while back. About it's the one thing that the iPhone was really missing that Android actually had. So. Because we live on these damn things now. Our entire lives are on it. Banking, everything.
Yep.
Pictures of our rockets.
Yeah. Our Bitcoin passwords, all that good stuff. GM they're not giving up the ghost on this ditching CarPlay thing. And they're really not giving up the ghost. And it's gotten to the point of every other article we've talked about this week where the world is just turning into the Onion.
Yep.
GM's head of product for infotainment, Tim Babbitt, said, we're not putting it in because of safety concerns, because if something happens and you have CarPlay, people are more likely to pick up their phone and not look at the road. He said that. He paraphrased it basically, because the Motor Trend article doesn't actually quote him for anything. It's all been paraphrased. Right. But the point is that he said, yeah, it's for your own safety. Come on.
Okay. Give me a break.
Come on.
Yeah. Now, instead of having this thing that's right on the dash in the line of sight of actually seeing what's in front of you, you're going to be glancing over to the right on the passenger seat where you put your phone.
Yeah, unless you plug into their Android-powered, infotainment system.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, give me a break. There's a new OpenAI challenger out called Mistral. It looks to be pretty cool. Inside of a year, they've already beat ChatGPT 3 or Open. So many acronyms. OpenAI's GPT 3.5. They've bested that. They're working on more goodies. The thing about it is you can get these models and you can just run them locally. It's all open source, which is phenomenal. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to. I would like to grab a copy when I get a chance, because there's the LM Studio that you can get to run locally on your if you've got a decent new Mac, which I have. But, well, actually, no. I mean, nowadays mine are lower rung. I've only got M1s.
Right. Yeah.
But it works on an M1, so hey, I'll give it a shot. You can check that stuff out on Hugging Face. I still, yes, with Brainwave. Plug in your Brainwave to the Hugging Face to ride your pink rocket to the stars. Of course, depending on market variability and the winds of change. Jesus. OpenAI is fighting back, though. They are They inked a deal with Alex Springer. Axel Springer. What Alex?
Now is the time on Sprockets when we dance.
Yes. Alex Springer is Jerry Springer's bastard brother. Anyway, this company, it's a German company, like you said, but they run Business Insider and Politico. So now you get instant access to really shitty articles. Great.
God, Business Insider is so fucking shit the bed. It's such a
garbage
site now.
Garbage. Yeah, Garbage Insider. That's what the Swedish Trash Metal bands listen to. Garbage Insider. And finally, E3 is finally officially dead, which is news to me because I thought it died years ago.
Definitely the pandemic, right? The last one was pre-pandemic, and then just never really came back, right?
Yeah, there hasn't been an in-person one since 2019.
Yeah,
so they did some virtual ones, but now they're just saying, nah, we're done. Fuck it.
I never went. Did you ever go?
Yes, I've been to E3. I've been to a couple E3s back in the day, and they were a blast.
Yeah, I did SIGGRAPH, but I never did E3.
Oh, SIGGRAPH was cool.
Yeah.
SIGGRAPH was the one, man. That's the one where you just go, I'll never be able to afford anything here.
But it's also cool.
Yeah. I think the first year I went to that was when when Autodesk introduced Maya.
Nice.
And they had, remember the Bingo the Clown animation?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, that was so cool. I mean, that blew everybody away. Go watch it now, and it's just like...
It all looks so lame. Like, if we went back if we took a time travel back and went to those SIGGRAPHs, we'd be like, you're going to be out of business. You're going to be out of business. That's horrible. That is no. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Amazing that Maya's still around. That's still their flagship. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's really hard to use. I tried to can't do it.
At the library.
So I finally followed my rule. I've been stringing together sci-fi books for a while, and I was like, I need something that is not sci-fi. And I was looking around, and Teresa Strasser, who was the news girl on the old Adam Carolla show, and I've always liked her. She's very clever, very funny. She's written another book previously about when she had her baby, and it was very funny and sweet and heartwarming and all of that. She is promoting a new book out called Making It Home, Life Lessons from a Season of Little League. Her brother had died of cancer, and then her mother passed away like 4 months after that.
Ooh.
And this is about her and her father kind of reconnecting and dealing with grief while watching her kid go through Little League. Oh. And, if you're a baseball fan, and it was great. I mean, just fucking phenomenal writing. Teared up more than a few times. So well done, Teresa. I'm happy to see that she's still out there writing and doing well, because I was always a big fan of hers on the radio show.
Yeah. No, that's good.
It was a great book.
Yeah, she was always better than Adam, honestly.
Well, low bar.
Yeah. Low bar. I read Longitude by Dave Sobel.
Mm-hmm.
This is the story of how we discovered, or not, we knew Longitude was there. The actual methods
Would they
of
run
navigation.
into it on a ship?
Yeah. Dong.
What the hell's this line doing here?
It's about how timepieces were invented to actually calculate longitude, and the fight between the people who used the lunar systems and the clock makers and all of the good stuff. I read this.
I can't
story.
wait for the sequel, Latitude.
Yeah, seriously. I read a version of this, the Neil Stephenson version of this whole story in the Baroque cycle.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm sure he could have fit about 19 of these books in there.
Yeah. This is the nice thing about it. This was short. This was great. This was literally a subplot, a small subplot of the Baroque cycle, but it was fun. So it was fun to hear the actual story. It's a really fascinating little book. I think it was only like a 4.5 hour listen on Audible. Well done. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Neil Stephenson, aren't we due? About due for a new one, aren't we?
I'm sure he's shitting out 890 pages right now.
Short one, please, Neil. Short one.
He doesn't do short. What was the last one, the climate change one? Is that going to have a sequel? Because I fell asleep by the end of it. I never finished it.
It could. They certainly left it open for one. I liked it. I thought it was
okay.
Great.
I enjoyed it, but it was just getting a little long.
that was one of his shorter ones.
I know. I've got it on the shelf. It's only 4 inches thick. So, I picked up another book called Accelerando by Charles Stross.
Accelerando!
Woo! It's about flamenco in the future with AI. Have you ever read this book?
I have not read this one.
So Rudy Rucker made a post the other day where he's posting his Kindle notes when he reads all this old sci-fi. This is like from 2014. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. The first 15 minutes is all I've gotten, and I love it already. Because this is old, like cyberpunk era type of writing. Mm-hmm. And it's like back when things were cool and we kind of gave a shit about neat technology. And it just, I don't know what it is. I have a soft spot in my heart for old cyberpunk type of stories. And this isn't even that old when you look at the eras of cyberpunk,
because I think you base all of, Snow Crash is ground zero for a lot of us. Right?
Kind of, yeah.
Or Gibson,
Yeah. You go back to old Gibson and old Bruce Sterling, that whole crowd, Rudy Rucker, all those guys from the early 90s to mid 90s, all those books. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Because we hadn't ruined technology yet. That's why.
Exactly. We haven't, like, the unwashed masses hadn't shown up. We didn't let AOL in.
There was no Elon.
Fuck it all up. There was, but he was playing games with the rest of us back then.
Yeah, he was wearing stupid goth clothes.
Exactly, and hanging out at LAN parties like he should have stayed doing. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to this one because old Charlie, I like old Charlie. He's doing pretty good. But when I found this book, I was recommended another book by Charlie called Glass House. Never heard of this one either, but the thing is, if you're an Audible Premium member, it's free. So added that puppy to my library when I'm missing something else to listen to. So I'm really, really excited to read Accelerando.
I can't wait to hear your review.
Closing shout outs.
Over at Patreon, we've got Roberto.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you,
Over
Robert.
at PayPal, we've got Ralph, Shari, Miles, Linda, Natalie, Steven, Celia, and Timothy with a big old 100 smackaroos.
Woohoo!
Accelerando!
Over at Stripe and the tip jar, we've got Joseph, Theodore, and Dan with the 50 buckaroos.
Half Accelerando.
Thank you, everybody. We need it.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Until next time, I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister. Thanks for listening to Grumpy Old Geeks. Show notes and links to everything we talked about today are at gog.show/629. gog.show/donate is the place to drop us a few bills so we can keep bringing you this top-notch entertainment. Sharing the show with your friends, enemies, or anyone in between is free and can be almost as good as cash. Almost. At gog.show, you can find a link to our Discord channel if you want to chat with us and other show fans. Head over to gog.show/contact to send us your feedback, comments, questions, or links to cool shit you think we should talk about on the air. And gog.show/reviews, where you can toss us a review and preferably 5 stars that we can also read on the air. Stay accelerando!